Hello everyone and welcome to game 1 in a series between I want to say Pokerov Kaz, but it's not Pokerov Kaz. This is Empire Kaz versus Millennium Stephano here on Shattered Temple. Kaz, only Zerg and Protoss for me today, so if you guys are watching these games in order, apparently Pink Power Rangers for Stephano. If you guys are watching these games in order as I am currently casting them, Kaz has already beaten oh my gosh, Millennium Adele. So Stephano, I guess, will be here to try to avenge a former or a current teammate, as Kaz spawning as the blue Terran player. Meanwhile, pretty in pink Zerg. I don't care if they are in pink; they are still a very, very slimy looking race. I'm trying to choose pink to make them a prettier color. Just didn't make that much sense to me. As a drone now making its way out, we are going to see an Overlord now position itself and now quickly see that there is the command center there, and now the drone going to make its way over. The timing on this, we'll see if Kaz actually spots this Overlord or not, if he's going to actually try to make the trek over, as the drone going to come up the ramp. The barracks already being placed down, and Kaz, interestingly enough, is not going for a front door seal. Without a front door steal, Stephano, if he does try to go for an earlier spawning pool, would be able to get a lot of damage into this army very early, as a drone already coming off the fight and deal some damage towards this particular one SCV. The SCV already down to 25 hit points there, and now that drone just trying to run around, and oh, it looked like there was an animation for the attack, but I didn't actually see any damage dealt there. Now two SCVs, and now delaying the barracks a little bit. Excuse me, delaying that barracks just a little bit, pulling the SCV off. We are getting a hatchery in play now, followed by that spawning pool. And a Marine will currently be trained. There is already a refinery in play as well, so those Zerglings will not be able to run up there. That ramp, since there is not going to be a second Rax anytime soon. There is finally that supply depot being built on that front door. Drones now being trained, and I gotta take it to Kaz. Kaz, currently, if you take a look at his vision, has very, very little sight, but he must have just had prior knowledge to how these players are playing and know their build orders in order for him to know that he doesn't need to build a front door in this particular matchup. We are now getting into Reapers. The Reaper does have the same movement speed as a Zergling without metabolic boost. So that Reaper, as long as you're able to kite with that Reaper very, very well, and then also use those cliffs well, jumping up and down in order to gain a little bit of distance, should be able to get at least 3 to 4 Zergling kills early on. A Marine now finally making its way out. And does the Marine exactly know where his opponent is? Gonna activate that Zonaga Watchtower. Instead, there is an Overlord about to do a flying run in along this backside. As soon as it comes into here, it will shoot straight across and then try to take a look into this, while Kaz now building a factory. So it looks like he's going to be trying to go for Hellions in just a moment, and Hellions may work out very well. For some reason, a lot of Zerg players have, and I don't know why that Queen was attacking his own extractor there, as the Zerglings now trying to get some damage onto that one Reaper. That Reaper going to be able to jump to that low ground, and a Queen now trying to make its way over. That Spine Crawler was not completed in time, and now you can see those Zerglings just trying to keep track of that Reaper if it does come back and deal some damage. We do have a command center down over here being built by Kaz, not in his base, but a little bit further out. We are getting the Hellion, and we are also getting the second factory before the Hellion research is even underway. Kaz looking to defend his main base with a lot of Marines, and it looks like this is not going to be a build using the Blue Flame or the Infernal Pre-Igniter research at all, but just perhaps reactored Hellions, and a lot of Hellions are still very, very effective. They tend to tangle up on each other, and I spoke too soon, as the Infernal Pre-Igniter now being researched as well. It is going to be significantly delayed. It does take 110 seconds to research, so that should be enough time to perhaps build and train about 3 sets of Hellions. That means that we should have somewhere in the realm of 8 Hellions if it is swapped with that reactor, as we are currently taking a look there. It looks like Stephano wanting to use this Overlord here to just keep track of these destructible rocks and make sure that he knows when his opponent is trying to take up that all-important third base. Zergling's now going to try to run over here, going to get sniped down by a Reaper. So that Reaper dealing significant damage against Zerglings now, and the Zerglings now just being positioned all across the map. Now, Stephano has been playing a lot of Terran players so far in this particular tournament. I'm not sure where it's from, but he has been playing a lot of Terran players so far, so perhaps he is suspecting Blue Flame Hellions or a lot of Hellion pressure. We are seeing that only 1 or 2 Hellions currently being trained, and now once again being supply locked there for a little while. So there are already 8 Hellions, and as soon as or 5 Hellions with 8 more or 3 more on the way, meaning 8. Yes, I can do math. Another Hellion could be trained up off of this factory as well. Not quite sure why it is not, as the Blue Flame research has been completed. That is going to mean 8 Hellions, and that is going to be a lot of damage very, very quickly. We are now perhaps going to build a starport or another barracks here in order to get a lot more Marines, and this has been Kaz's MO this whole entire time. Build up a very, very strong tactical force that can deal some damage while he keeps up his production. Keep track of his production tab over here. And now, those Hellions with a range of 5 trying to look and deal more damage, trying to sneak by, and it looks like those Queens are going to come in, and oh, the Hellions unable to get that much damage so far, but it is forcing a lot of play, as the Zerglings now going to get toasted once again. More Zerglings getting taken down, and now going to just simply run by here and down. No, the Zergling now taken down over here. More Zerglings going to get toasted once again as the Hellions try to get more drone kills, and oh, that is going to be very, very bad there. 3 drones already down. More drones getting toasted once again, and those drones just getting toasted line by line, and that was a good 8 to 10 kills there as those Hellions dealing a lot of damage. Taking a look at the resource count, 1,200 versus 850, and now workers killed, 16 workers lost by Stephano. But taking a look at the overall drone count, it is 40 compared to 31, as we are getting 6 more drones trained up. That is the benefit of the Zerg being able to power drone that easily. We are getting some Banelings now moving out or morphing into place, so those Banelings are going to be effective, as well as we are also going into a Spire. We are getting a Thor as well, so interesting to see a Thor play this early in the game before the first Mutalisk has been trained. Income-wise now, 1,500 versus, or 2,000 versus 1,500 in total resources, as some mules were being called off for just a moment, and now SCV is being transferred off to the low ground, as Kaz perhaps should be getting the level 1 weapons upgrade on those Thors. Thors with level 1 weapons upgrade deal significantly more, or level 2 weapons upgrade deal significantly more damage against Mutalisk, able to 2-shot them out of the sky. And that is a 33% increase in damage, or 50% increase in how fast they are able to kill units instead of 3 shots, 2 shots. Or is that 33? It's actually 33%. I always hate calculating the percentage from one way to another. Kaz now perhaps looking to establish this gold mineral patch over here, sending some Marines over. The Marines are going to have a very difficult time shooting down anything that has 3 armor. But perhaps some siege tanks and some Thors will also make the trek over to help those Marines. You can see how slowly these rocks are getting taken down, and then all of a sudden 1 Thor comes over, and that is significantly more. So those Thors now dealing 20 or 54 damage per round of attack, and able to shoot them down very, very quickly, and down it goes. Command center most likely will be upgraded to a planetary fortress as the Mutalisks quickly turned back by a missile turret. And now going after another missile turret over here. This missile turret most likely will get destroyed as the Mutalisks try to come in for some harassment. The only problem with Thors is how slow, how pathetically slow they are in trying to catch up and trying to deal damage towards Mutalisks. But that's what the Marines with stim packs are for, as the planetary fortress now being upgraded. Still no missile turrets here just quite yet, as those Thors getting some rounds of attack, and there you go, 2 rounds of attack into the back of a Mutalisk. That Mutalisk down to 25 hit points. But yeah, it would have been enough if it was in fact, if it was level 2 weapons upgrade. So level 2 weapons upgrade is, I believe it's plus plus 8, plus 16 damage per round of attack. So it is, yeah, 32 damage, more than enough. Banelings currently being morphed. The Banelings do have that movement speed upgrade as they are on a roll. And now the Mutalisk looking to put in a little bit more pressure. A Siege Tank currently trapped inside the factory, unable to be built. And now in comes the Thors. The Thors looking to get some damage. And you can see that Stephano is magic boxing. No longer magic boxing, now taking some more damage, losing a reactor. A reactor is essentially another barracks, if you think about it, that only has 500 hit or 400 hit points. So that is very important to try to slow down the production of your opponent. You can now see there is 2 missile turrets. The missile turret auto-tracking but unable to get any shots off. And now in come the Marines, and now Thor is coming in as well. Another round of attacks coming in, and now a Mutalisk being turned around. But we now see a lot of expansions coming in from Stephano. Stephano now establishing the 3 o'clock and the 2 o'clock expansions, so it is going to be 4 base play compared to 3, as the Marines now trying to make their way out. Army-wise, Terran significantly larger at a total of 500 resources more. Siege tanks are now blasting their way out as well, so the siege tanks there to try to protect the Marines from those Banelings. The Thor is there to prevent those Mutalisks from being able to focus fire, as soon as you focus fire with a Mutalist, they lose that magic box. And then the Mutalisks are able to, or the Thors are just able to shred down those Mutalisks. The Thor now making its way over. We are getting level 2 weapons upgrade on those Marines, as the Thors are still being pushed out slowly but surely. 14 damage per attack. Yeah, 14 damage per attack over here, as you are now getting more and more units into position. Marines now trying to run away, as one Thor out of position, going to get taken down very, very easily. But the Banelings are just splitting and destroying many of those Marines. The Mutalists now need to go after the rest of those Banelings here. And now that last Thor will get taken down by Zerglings. And the Mutalists of Stephano may be able to get off and finish off more of these siege tanks. But in comes a fresh group of Marines, all gung-ho to save those siege tanks. And that fresh group of Marines saving Kaz a lot of losses. These 5 or 6 of these siege tanks could have been easily destroyed if it was not for these 8 Marines that came out to meet this group. So very, very nicely done. Level 2 weapons upgrade about to be completed for the Terran player as well. And now Stephano needs to get up his drone count and then start transferring some drones all across the map. You are going to see drones and perhaps some queens being spawned over here as well, as Stephano going to be running off of 6 gas play in just a moment. At Kaz, still very, very fortunate to have this gold mineral expansion, meaning that he is still able to get a lot of mining, even though he is behind on SCVs. 2,100 resources, or sorry, 2,700 resources, or 3,000, wow, compared to 2,700 at this time. The Mutalists all grouped together. Now a nice group of 16 Mutalists looking to perhaps deal some damage. All these missile turrets are a little bit far away from each other. And now, as soon as we get level 2 weapons upgrade, and now level 3 on the Marines, scanner sweeps revealing all of the creep tumors, and now preventing any of those Banelings from really being able to find their target. And now once again retreating before as that creep slowly recedes. So that creep is going to slowly just pull back from the center of the map, as the siege tanks are now going to try to regroup. And oh, those Marines and those Mutalists doing such a great job, losing a couple of those units here, as Zerglings now trying to swarm in. Siege tanks are in the process of sieging up. Marines are backing off just in time. And wow, Stephano losing a large group of his attack force there without really dealing that much damage. The Banelings did not find their target, and that is always an issue. Missile turret is in play, unable to spot any of those additional units, any of those additional creep tumors now, as the Marines are now cleaning up those particular bases. And now, this is what every Zerg player hates to see: a group of siege tanks and Marines in the center, splitting off any reinforcements. Marines now making their way over here. This one particular hatchery doesn't have any or that many drones at all, and there is a burrowed Zergling there. Can he upgrade to a Baneling? No, he cannot. Zerglings now coming in. Banelings finding their targets, melting across multiple units here and now killing multiple siege tanks as the Zerg is now swarming in and finishing off the rest of those Marines. Mutalisks are in play to try to deal some damage towards these Marines here. The Marines are going to get just picked apart, but the Marines able to find their target. Oh, 5 hit point Mutalisk now going after those medevacs, and I believe that medevac should get shot down. The Mutalisk should be able to move and attack much better than that if it was actually being microed, but it is not, and now deciding to retreat home. But lucky for Stephano, this base still decently saturated with 24 drones, or perhaps 26 drones. I believe it's 26. Yeah, 26 drones at this time. Command center now being rebuilt over here. The army of Kaz still significantly larger, as he has a lot of Marines and a lot of siege tanks, not relenting in his production. So just mass Marine tanks so far. Level 2 weapons upgrade on those tanks, able to blast apart a Baneling before it gets anywhere near those Marines. Marines protecting siege tanks protecting Marines, as we are now going in for a drop up on that high ground. Kaz expecting that there is something over here, going to drop up onto that high ground. There are no medevacs in this composition right now, so this is going to be a very dangerous proposition, but Kaz does have 2 missile turrets nearby, so that will significantly help as the Marines are now dropping into play and now going to be able to finish off multiple of those spine crawlers. The Marines are upgraded 3-0, but now in comes the main attack force here as the Banelings are just getting detonated by that scanner sweep, revealing them, and now the siege tanks are just sitting in the front. We are getting an overseer as well. The Marines are just going to be able to sit off here, and now these units are, this is going to be a very difficult flanking process by Kaz. Siege tanks blasting apart multiple Zerglings, and Kaz just losing units left and right. Total workers killed 18 compared to 12 yet. 351 versus 124, so that is pretty significant as those siege tanks are still making their way out. Siege tanks are all staggered, so the siege tanks will be able to get a lot of damage in very easily. Stephano in a bit of trouble. He does have a decent number of drones, and now drones being transferred over here, but he is splitting apart this army. Banelings now coming in. Zerglings and Banelings now making their way in. The Marines are on the inside of this pocket. All the front siege tanks have been destroyed, but the Kaz's reinforcements now coming in, and Stephano says, well played. So there's the, I guess it's not officially a GG, but there's the GG by Stephano, and very well played by Kaz. Kaz just doing a good job getting early pressure, early aggression, and then backing off, and then coming at him with an even stronger army. And that's really how you play Terran, folks. Just a really clean style of play. I know a lot of you guys are saying that Marine tank is boring, Marine Marauder is boring, but if it works, and there's the composition of Thors and medevacs as well, there was no need to get Vikings. He just played a really solid game. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned for the additional games. I probably won't have time to cast them today, so if you're watching my games as the moment they're coming out, they're probably not released yet, but I will be following them up in tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.